Professional sports perspective, from our couch to yours. Thanks for listening to the Couch Rider Report. This is Jermaine Lockett, your host. I'm here with T. Huddy, Trevor Hudson from California, coming in for training, but we're going to talk perspective. What's happening, man?
What's going on, brother?
Okay, so let's talk about these quarterbacks. I got an issue with any quarterback making above $20 million. What is going on with the league today?
You know, I know the league changed the rules. If you hit a quarterback, it's major. I didn't know if you didn't pay him right, it's a major penalty as well. It seems that, you know, I have 3 sons, and I really want to take them all outside and say, hey, I need you to learn how to throw a football. Because if you can just start a couple games and just do halfway decent, you got a $20 million salary coming. You know, you look at a guy like Brock Osweiler, he just got paid $18 million a year. $37 million guaranteed. $72 million was the whole contract. I mean, the numbers keep increasing the more you think about it.
I mean, Houston was desperate on that. I mean, that is a crazy move right there. Yes, I get it. You had QB issues, but I just don't see a fresh out of the box 7-game quarterback.
7 games, and that's the magical point. In 7 games, not to mention he didn't win all 7 of these games.
No.
In 7 games, and when you look at the Denver Bronco offense, it sputtered in those 7 games. In the second half, I think their touchdown rate dropped significantly. But yet, we take this young man and we say, hey, you're our guy. You're the franchise guy. To let you know the state of emergency we're in, Sam Bradford keeps getting contracts.
How is it? Does he keep getting contracts? I don't get it. He was demanding close to $18 million a year, wasn't he?
But yet, he was. But yet, they will say Tyrod Taylor is subpar.
$3 million. This guy just beat all the records that Jim Kelly set in 1 year. I mean,
I don't even understand the logic behind it. You take some of these quarterback deals that's coming on. This is when you know, ladies and gentlemen, we're in a state of emergency. Listen, we're in a state of emergency when we are waiting for breaking news on where Ryan Fitzpatrick will sign his next contract.
it's crazy.
What is the world of quarterback come to?
It is the talent level has tanked. And I think it's tanked at one point, but also I think, like you said, Tyrod Taylor is one of the most dynamic quarterbacks coming out. He had 1 total receiver last year, Sammy Watkins. You saw that on every pass. That was the guy he was hooking up with. And nothing against Robert Woods. I think he's a fundamental guy. You know, that's what you kind of need as a number 2, but he needs to step it up a little bit more.
Definitely.
Get him a good, solid number 2 for next season. Have Woods in the slot, and you got Tyrod working the entire AFC East right now.
You know, the Buffalo Bills, when you get a coach with a personality as large as Rex Ryan. Rob Ryan is actually working for him now. They brought it all together.
It's like Arizona all over.
Exactly. When you get a personality that big, I think it overshadows a lot of the great things.
Yeah.
But people don't realize for a while, Buffalo's in contention.
Yeah.
This is a team that is definitely on the rise. Now, they've lost a couple of pieces due to free agency, but Tyrod Taylor really, to me, he established himself. He took his time. He did it the old-fashioned way. He sat behind Flacco and Baltimore for many years.
Yeah, that tutelage there, I think it may have taught him a couple of things, but he was also tutored by Michael Vick.
Yes.
And, you know, y'all might hate on Michael Vick, but Michael Vick also was a dynamic, electric player.
Michael Vick changed the game, changed the way you viewed the quarterback position. The only downfall to it, it's a style of play that, due to the nature and the physicality of the game,
it's going to get you injured.
It's going to get you hurt. And mind you, we're giving some of these other quarterbacks money, but then there's other people who I think still are worth a chance. You know, call me crazy, I still would take a flyer on Robert Griffin III.
I would too.
This young man, as a rookie, did some phenomenal things with the Washington Redskins. Quick, top of your head, tell me who's on that team. Exactly. And they went to the playoffs. You know, you got some other people out here who you could give a shot to, but yet we're waiting for Ryan Fitzpatrick. And then let's not even talk about the situation that is Colin Kaepernick. I cannot understand for the love of me why he wants to leave San Francisco when you just got Chip Kelly. Not the Chip Kelly who has no clue how to be a GM, but the Chip Kelly who is just the football coach.
And has worked with Marcus Mariota, who is a mobile quarterback in the same mold.
In the same mold, you have experience. It's basically a match made in heaven. And I tell you what, if I'm Robert Griffin III, I'm sitting at home somewhere, and I'm hoping, I'm praying that Kaepernick talks his agent into getting him traded. And the second he leaves, if I'm Robert Griffin, I would go to San Fran and offer to play quarterback for free, because this is a great opportunity to rejuvenate your career in a system I think he'd strive in.
You say for free. I am all about show me contracts. I cannot stand these multi-year deals where, you know what, honestly, I'm on the side of the owners and the teams. I feel like that these agents are getting the best of these deals right here, because they're putting too much on guaranteed money, and then when it comes to the next year, they are completely clearing out the roster because they signed a guy that they did not intend on paying in that third year a $20 to $29 million.
And there you have it. When you mention that $20 million a year for a quarterback, and you mention some of these other salaries, and Dominic and Sue, the Dolphins already restructured his contract. It was 1 year. The thing about guaranteed money in the NFL compared to other sports, it's not as lucrative as some of these other sports are. And the athletes say, "Oh, I can't afford my life." I don't know about you, but my guaranteed money that I get is it comes on the 1st and 15th, and
absolutely.
I'm pretty sure it's a little different than the signing bonus that they're getting.
Retention tool too.
yeah. So there's a lot of different things that go into it. But with the quarterback position, you know, as we go into that, I think when you look at quarterbacks in the NFL, the top echelon quarterbacks, they stick out hand over foot. You know, you have your Tom Brady, which to me is one of the tacticians of this game, and what he does with or without receivers is ridiculous.
I mean, now that Brainiac's gone, you know, with Peyton, you know, it pretty much puts Tom and Rodgers at the top. That's the top echelon, and then there's the second echelon of.
You know, I actually give you a slight debate. It's hard to not put Ben Roethlisberger in there. You know, when you go statistically, what he does on the numbers game, he actually competes with them numerically.
You know, now, I got to give credit, though. I got to give credit to the wide receivers coaches of the Pittsburgh Steelers, because it just seems like year after year, if they lose Mike Wallace, no problem. You lose Antonio Holmes, no problem. You got Antonio Brown. You lose Antonio Brown. I mean, when the dude isn't smoking weed, you got Martavis Bryant. I mean, the step-ups just keep coming. These guys just keep coming with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they keep going into the draft and finding these gems in the 3rd and 4th round, and they turn into stellar wide receivers to help Big Ben out when he's in the clutch.
You know, when you think about it, no championship is won in the first round of the draft. Right. It's those late picks that really drive that team, that really drive some of these great additions. Tom Brady was taken in the 6th round. You look at some of the quarterbacks who were phenomenal, who were taken outside of the first round or later in the first round. How many people are kicking themselves in the teeth for skipping over Aaron Rodgers that year that he slid to the 22nd or 21st pick in the draft? Yeah. Alex Smith was taken ahead of him. Now, that's no shot against Alex. He's had a very productive career since he's been in Kansas City, but I do think it's safe to say he is not even in the neighborhood when you start saying top echelon quarterbacks in the NFL.
Speaking of people that got picked over, I mean, look at Tyrod. 11 quarterbacks before him, and now he's got his shot. And the dude, he's my favorite quarterback. So I just keep bringing him up because I'm on the Tyrod bandwagon. I wrote articles about him before. I even got him as a friend on Facebook because I'm that big of a fan.
I tell you what, Tyrod Taylor's done some phenomenal things in Buffalo. I definitely think they've made some good moves to kind of help them bring that team together. I just hope that he can continue his maturation process, you know, continue to be the smart quarterback that he is. He runs the ball very effectively, but he has kind of a Russell Wilson type common sense about knowing, okay, when it's time to get down and when it's time to step out of bounds. If you can continue that, and as long as you got that kid, Sammy Watkins, you know, I remember when they made the trade, I thought it was quite a reach, but when you look at him play when he's healthy, he's going to catch the football.
You know, I had a problem with Sammy Watkins at first. I thought he was just overrated because of the fact that there was another receiver in Clemson that was catching more of the attention, and which let Sammy Watkins actually get that playoff because he has that speed. Then he gets into the NFL and somebody jams him up. And actually, I saw it during the preseason, I think it was a couple years ago, Prince Amukamara from the Giants. He actually set up on the line, and he said hello and ushered this dude to the sideline. And Sammy couldn't do nothing about it. It was just like a hello, welcome to the NFL type deal. And I actually wrote an article and just put Sammy on blast for it because I saw his technique throughout the game, and everybody was, you know, all yelling Sammy, Sammy this, Sammy that, and he actually took some growth out of that game. I think he went back to the tape.
And he definitely did learn. Prince Moore, who is now with the Jaguars now. Once again, beautiful things to free agency. Yeah, time to get paid.
That's all it is.
But, like I said, Sammy has grown. All these players grow as they get better. The only team or players that seem not to grow is my beloved Buccaneers. We find a way to draft these receivers who have phenomenal great years, and then the second year they kind of, for some reason, they just teeter off. Mike Evans, I know they made a big issue about saying we're going to work on his drops because he just could not catch the football last year.
Yeah.
But Coach Cutter and the staff, they all said that it's something that we want to work on, we want to get him in better shape. And with Jameis Winston back there, speaking of quarterbacks, now that he's mine, as a diehard Hurricane fan, it's very hard for me to like anybody from Florida State. But now that I can completely tomahawk chop that out of his life, and now that he's a true Buccaneer.
So who you got right now with this? The NFC South is just so shaky right now. You got ATL, who don't have a second wide receiver because Roddy White was gone, but he was gone the year before because he only had one touchdown the whole year. It was like close to 500 yards. That's not number 2 wide receiver production. It's kind of terrible. I just don't think that Atlanta has a solid enough defense, even though they had this former Seahawks coordinator down there handling business. I just don't think that team is going to be the top of the tier like they used to be. The Saints, of course, have no defense whatsoever. And I feel like they're going to have to really build on that through free agency and through the draft this year. You got you guys who, Jameis Winston, I mean, once he gets the targets that he needs and gets guys with some hands, he's going to be straight. And then you got Carolina with Cam Newton, who's still throwing fastballs. It's not putting enough touch on the ball, for these guys to get out there. But the defense was really dominant this year.
Very much
and
so.
Just the way that Jonathan Stewart showed up again, even though when he's not injured, he is amazing.
He's a great running back. The NFC South all as a whole, it's like the Dr. Jekyll, Mrs. Hyde of a division. First off, let's start with the Saints. Saint fans, that was a moment of silence for you. Because it seems that you guys have got rid of every player who had any type of relevance to be on your football team. You kept Sean Payton. You still have Drew Brees. But I don't see that meticularly into wins this year. It's going to be a tough year for the Saints. I just don't see it. They've got rid of way too many pieces. They're on a fire sale.
Didn't they just lose Ben Watson to Baltimore Ravens?
They lost Watson. They lost Colston. They let Jimmy Graham go the year prior. I mean, the Saints... When they say the Saints they're not marching in, they're marching out. Yeah. So definitely some big change going on there.
Call FEMA. It's another evaluation.
It's another one. It's another one. Mm-hmm. So then you look at the Atlanta Falcons. Matt Ryan really digressed last year, in my opinion. Now I don't know if that was the system. I don't know if it's because he lost his offensive coordinator. But the offense as a whole just seemed to be stagnant, other than Julio Jones and Devontae Freeman. Those were the 2 bright spots that season.
He was a beast in fantasy.
Man, but if you notice, once people got used to it, he definitely cooled out when us fantasy owners needed him to shine. But still, great player.
DraftKings, that's my crap.
You make that pick and you're like, oh, Devontae, not this week. So Atlanta, I just don't see it happening. Dan Quinn, like you said, the coordinator from the Seahawks, just doesn't have the same players that he had. I'm really surprised they did not get Bruce Irvin as a free agent. Yeah. He ended up going to Oakland. I thought that would have been definitely a great move for them, but once again, that's not how the cookie crumbles. Then you go Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Once again, I'm going to try to put objectivity as my forefront. I believe Tampa is a team that is headed in the right direction. Are we going to win the Super Bowl next year? Of course we are.
What are
but
they
at the same time, who knows?
The D-line.
What we've done, they added Robert Ayers in free agency, who, is not a big name that shocks you. You don't say, Robert Ayers, oh no, this vaunted pass rush. But when you have a Gerald McCoy, you get Jacquez Smith, who's going to be healthy, who had about 7 sacks last year. You get 9 from Ayers. McCoy's good for about 4 to 5 from an interior defensive line position.
Right.
And they've actually done some work on the linebacker core. Quan Alexander, phenomenal rookie. You have him in the middle. You have Smith that we actually got from Baltimore, tackling machine. And then you got Levante David on the weak side. So in that 4-3 scheme, and that aggressive 4-3 scheme, I feel like our linebacker core has definitely gotten better.
I think with the Pat Willis's retiring, I think with Ray's gone, Ray Lewis is gone, you really don't have too many solid linebackers left. And I think you got two of the premiers with Levante David and Darryl Smith. When it comes to the middle linebacker position, as long as you got those power pigs in front of you, depending on the system, all you doing is smacking butts around trying to put them in those different gaps so it makes yourself look good. You got the guys to make yourself look good up front. Life is a little easier. So with Smith there now, he doesn't have to work as hard. He has the mind, he has the intelligence, and he has the experience to put these guys in the place to make this team look great. Him and Levante David are going to be the Pat Willis-Bowman type of combination, I believe.
I tell you what, people sleep on the young rookie we drafted last year at LSU, Quan Alexander. Before he had his 4-game ban, drugs are bad. Quan had a phenomenal rookie season. So when you add that aspect to it, then you add a Brett Grimes in the secondary. Now our safeties, to be determined, but so I definitely think Tampa's made some great moves in the right direction. But I have to pay homage and pay respect when respect due. The Carolina Panthers look great. And Cam threw the ball to Ted Ginn last year. Ladies and gentlemen, Ted Ginn. Exactly. Ted Ginn, he's never been a prolific wide receiver.
My bad, coach.
But he gets a guy like Kelvin Benjamin back next year. You know what kind of add that adds to them? And that defense is ferocious. You mentioned Pat Willis and some of the other people. There's one linebacker that everybody knows. They call him Kuechly. Mr. Luke Kuechly.
Oh, gosh.
Him.
The safety back there, Coleman. Whew, that boy nasty. Did he have seven or 8 interceptions last year?
He had enough to make it happen. Then you get Josh Norman, who they franchise. Who I'm pretty sure Josh Norman's not too happy about that. But for the Carolina Brass, they definitely keep a great corner. So that division, it is still Carolina's until somebody else takes it.
Absolutely.
Cam Newton definitely went to a new level and played a lot better football last year. I was slightly disappointed with him in the Super Bowl just because when you win and you have fun, you got to lose and be respectful.
Yes.
And some of the attitude that he had, you just can't have that because you have young players looking up to you.
Yeah, you
so
got to be able to take it.
You got to be able to take it as much as you can dish it.
And I get the whole competitor piece, and I've seen LeBron, he was a little bitter and won the championships as well, but you still got to come out there. You have to handle the interviews with maturity and say, hey, you know what, they were the better team, whatever. I get, yes, there was another interview going on next to him, and they were really, the guy was really gloating and blasting Cam or whatever. But yeah, go out there, handle it with grace, and then say, you know what, we're going to get back at it next year. Ray Lewis was one of the biggest when it comes to resilience, when it comes to bouncing back off of that defeat. When the Baltimore Ravens got beat by the Patriots a couple years ago in the AFC Championship game, Ray came back and brought his team together in a way that, it felt like church. It was a spiritual moment. They actually came out head high, feeling like, you know what? Next year is our year. We're going to do this. They came back, brought it back together, had a terrible regular season, and then brought it into the playoffs.
But put it
together and finished on top. And that's what we believe that Cam Newton can do if he, pulls it back together and puts his team first like he has. It took a while before they made him a captain, a couple of years before they made him a team captain because he needed to show that maturity, that development in his mind as far as on the field as well.
Yes, sir.
And so now he's got a chance to say, hey, let's bring this team back together, give me one more piece, and let's go and take this thing to the Super Bowl. There's also a wide receiver that he was working with before, still in free agency, right? That dropped by the Patriots. Help me out here. I can't remember what his name is because when you go to the Patriots, you kind of disappear. He's an LSU product.
Brandon LaFell. Another guy that he was accustomed with. So definitely an option out there for Carolina. I believe Carolina, I think they're going to invest in Malcolm Brown, the gentleman they had. Corey Brown, the gentleman they had last year. Mm-hmm. And you get a Kelvin Benjamin back. So they definitely got some pieces. Do I think they're ready to say they're going to be in the Super Bowl again next year? The NFL is very difficult. Yeah. It's very difficult to say, hey, you're going to do this. So interesting times. The state of the quarterback position definitely in flux. You have some teams that have quarterbacks and you have some teams that don't. But the beautiful thing about it with the quarterback position, it is just that black and white. Either you have a quarterback or you don't. And when you look at the NFC South, everybody has a quarterback.
Yes.
But what is it going to pan out to be? Is it going to be successful? Is it not?
There's got to be more to it. But we'll get to it a little bit later on. This is Original Sports Perspective. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining us, Huddy. We are out of here. This is Original Sports Perspective from our couch to yours. Thanks for listening to the Cal Pride Report podcast.
Good night, y'all.